Welcome to the Jali podcast. I'm your host, Melyssa Barrett. This podcast is for those who are interested in the conversation around equity, diversity, and inclusion. Each week, I'll be interviewing a guest who has something special to share or is actively part of building solutions in the space. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the Jali podcast, where we share stories that inspire, challenge, and uplift with a deep focus on building more inclusive, equitable communities. I'm your host, Melyssa Barrett, and today's episode is one that will stick with you for a long time after the final word. My guest today is a man whose life is the very definition of resilience, courage, and transformation. Fletcher Cleaves, also known as the Wheelchair Nomad, is a nationally recognized motivational speaker, disability advocate, athlete, and adventurer who has turned unimaginable tragedy into a platform for powerful change. I'll let him tell you his story, but needless to say, there was a moment in his life that didn't mark the end of his story, it marked a turning point. Fletcher has gone on to graduate college, travel the world, skydive, share his message on ESPN's College Game Day, and speak to thousands of students, athletes, educators, and leaders across the country. He is also a TEDx speaker, and in this episode of the Jolly podcast, we'll talk about his journey, how identity, representation, and inclusion shape his advocacy, and what we can all learn from the way he leads with purpose, humor, and grit. And if you're listening from Tracy, California, get ready because Fletcher will be joining us for Empowerment Day, hosted by the Tracy Area Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated in February 2026. So, students, families, and educators, you do not want to miss him live. So, settle in. Let's get into this extraordinary conversation with the one and only Fletcher Cleaves. All right. I am always pleased and blessed when I get to talk to somebody who is just amazing. And this week is no different. I have Fletcher Cleaves this week, and I'm so excited that you have joined me for this conversation because I think you embody such an amazing mindset that I think people just like can't get enough of. I want to kind of just start from the beginning about how, and usually I ask people kind of how did you become the person you are today? And wherever that starts, because I know mindset doesn't start with a particular day or whatever. There's clearly something that has been put into you from the beginning. So I would love to hear you tell me a little bit about your background and how you got to be the man you are today.
Absolutely. So my name is Fletcher Cleaves. I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. Great state of Tennessee, old Memphis, Tennessee. So I would definitely say to answer your question, what is still my values and mindset today was definitely my parents. My parents never allowed me to feel like I couldn't do anything, or they didn't want me to think I couldn't do anything. So that was like, your own person. I got in trouble. Well, they were doing it. We worried about you. You need to make your own decisions. Everybody instead of following the crowd and things of that nature. And also, even though I'm an only child, I grew up in a large family, and having those siblings that were 5 years older than me, 6 years older than me. I was 13 and they were 19, and I'm like, "Can I play with y'all?" And I was like, "If you want to." But they never took it easy on me, so it kind of made me pull up by my bootstraps, so to speak, and put my big boy pants on. And just always remember that you can do anything despite who you are or the things you had to overcome.
That's awesome. I love it. So, and I mean, your story is just so powerful. So, I know you played football. I'm not exactly sure when you got into that or whether it started early. What was that process like?
Yes, ma'am. So I was growing up, I was an active individual. So I don't want to say bad, I like to say active. So my parents, they realized that they had to put me in organized team sports so I can use this energy to something more positive. So growing up, I played football, basketball, baseball, soccer, anything you can name to make sure I have any free time or any energy to get into trouble. And then about middle school and beginning of high school, I fell in love with football. So I just started concentrating on that and focusing on football. And it kind of went on from there. I realized like at an early age, I was like, I'm kind of better than everybody else. Like, so I kind of took it serious and got a personal trainer and got in my playbook and things of that nature. And I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship, a football scholarship in college.
Wow, that's awesome. So then you were all set to go to what college?
Lamb University is a small school here in Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay. And that is that where you ultimately got your degree or
No, ma'am. So to back up a little bit, I graduated high school and then I left to go train for college 2 days after high school graduation. So I trained for the upcoming collegiate football season, all summer, May, June, July, then August, and then got the green light that I made the travel team, and which was fantastic. But unfortunately, on September 10th, 2009, I was involved in a car crash that left me paralyzed from the chest down. So when that process happened, of course, I had to enroll in therapy in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Shepherd Center for a year, and then I had to move back to Memphis with my parents for a couple of months, just sitting at home. And I realized, like, hey, this ain't for me. I got to do something and go back to school. So living back with my parents, I re-enrolled to the University of Memphis, and that's where I got my degree.
okay, fantastic. And your degree was in computer science, if I remember.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. Degree in computer science. So math always made sense to me. So I was like,
Okay.
pretty easy to me. So
I love it. I love it. So then in terms of what were your dreams then and how did things shift for you after your accident?
yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So I would say at such a young age of 18, when I was injured, I really didn't have any real responsibilities at that age. Like I tell people all the time, my responsibilities were school, football, girls. Like that's it. Like that's the only thing I heard. If I do good in school, that's 80% of it. Then I'm gonna do well in the field, and the girls will take care of itself, right? And so with that being that having that real responsibility, that's the only thing I was worried about. So my mindset was the mindset of an 18-year-old boy, so to speak. And then when my car crash happened, it kind of had me pers- switch my perspective because I was always known as Fletcher, the football player. And now that I'm not playing football anymore, I wanted to reshape my identity and figure out who I was going to become. And I never wanted to be, oh, we never heard about that guy anymore once he stopped playing football. And I was like, ain't nothing wrong with my mind. I can still think. I can still go to college. I can still graduate. I can still become a productive citizen of society. And then once that happened, I started making money. You know, I can still travel. I can still do the things I want to do. And so that's where that came about.
That's fantastic. So, and I mean, I think there's a lot of people that having gone through what you went through and the
Mhm.
limitations that you had after that, you can tell that you saw your purpose. Like
Mhm.
you found like your why in the midst of all that conversation you just had about, hey, I there are things I can do and
Absolutely.
I want to travel, I want to do this, that, and the other. I mean, that's I think so impactful because I think a lot of times people get stuck in the pain and they don't know how to get out of the pain.
Absolutely.
So
And I mean, football definitely instilled those. I would say team sports in general, but football mostly, because that camaraderie and understanding how football tends to be a tougher sport, so to speak. And the coaches, my college coach, especially when he got to college, when you don't have to be there and like we're there, scholarship is like it's not a game anymore. It's just real life.
right.
And just, I mean, with mental health being a forefront of today's society, it kind of maybe wasn't the best thing that they said, but I get what they were trying to say. And one of those things was, it was like, nobody cares what you're going through. The world doesn't care. Like, oh, you lost your job, the bills are still due. Oh, your mom is sick, whatever, right? Like, nobody cares. So you need to figure out what it is you need to do to get over what it is that's going on in your life. And so I took that mindset when I got injured. I was like, okay, my parents, your loved ones care, your friends care, but the world, Okay, you paralyzed. There's so is other 6 million people in America. So I just showed I feel sorry for myself and like, okay, I can still do what I can.
Wow, that's amazing. One of the things I wanted to ask you though is because there's so many athletes that wrap their identity around sports, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
So, what do you tell young athletes, whether it be in Tracy, my city, or everywhere, about kind of understanding that resilience and purpose, and being able to kind of redefine or rebrand their success, which you clearly have
Mhm.
done?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say understand that your sport is going to end one day. There's going to be one day where you no longer picking up a basketball. There's no going to be one day where you no longer putting on cleats for football or whatever the case may be. And when that day comes, and it's going to come sooner than what you think, whether it's through injury, like me, if you would have asked me at 17, how long you think you're going to be playing football? Well, I got one more. I'm about to play another in my senior year, and then I got 4 years of college. So then I might go to. So I'm thinking at least minimum 6 years, right? And then, but boom, only Big G, God knew that this is your last year playing football.
Right. Right.
So you never know. Your sport will end one day, and what are you gonna prepare yourself when you're no longer able to pick up that basketball?
Yeah.
Um, we all think that professional athletes. That's what I want to be a professional athlete. But if you look at the top 15 richest people in the world, none of them are athletes, right?
Right.
So our society, especially our people, tend to get caught up in being that's the only way to become successful. And I was told, and I was shown that that's not the only way to become successful. And I can still use my talents and my gifts to be financially stable. And then also, I would say to those athletes that are listening, though it might seem that your sport is the world, but at the end of the day, it's not that important. Like you need to really focus on. I'm not saying don't take it serious. If you have been blessed to have physical capabilities, then use those to your. Let it take you to the furthest it can take you, but don't lose sight of what's important. Also, spending time with your family, taking care of your kids, and stuff of that nature too.
I love that. I love that. Just kind of taking your inspiration into action. I want you to tell me about how did the rise of the wheelchair nomad come into
Mhm.
play? Like I don't like how did that even happen?
Absolutely. Yeah. So once I started making money in IT and using my degree, I started thinking to myself, you know what, I want to travel too. Like I don't want to be left out. I was seeing people, I kind of missed that college experience because I was newly injured and I was living with I had to move back in with my parents. So with my parents being the traditional black parents, like on good time, the traditional black parents, I wouldn't been running it. I couldn't run it in and out the house and stay out late at night and all that fun. So I missed it going to spring break in Florida. I missed all of that. So once I moved out at 24, I was like, you know what? I want to get the experience. I want to travel. I want to see these things. So I just started making a list of places I wanted to go and listening to songs and like, okay, where's that location? How far is that? And I started doing it, and people were like, "Man, this is amazing that you're still traveling the world." And I never wanted to be an inspiration. I just wanted to go to Italy. Like I never wanted to be a motivation. I just wanted to go to Dubai. But people found inspiration and motivation in me traveling, and I started posting my travels on social media like everybody else. And when that happened, people caught wave and became viral. Like this guy in his wheelchair is traveling the world. And people start asking me questions like, hey, my grandmother has mobility issues. Where did you stay when you went to Jamaica? Hey, my brother is newly paralyzed. Where are some places we can go? And that was like, this dude is everywhere. Like, he's like a nomad. This dude is like a nomad. And me being who I am and being goofy, I was like, yep, call me the wheelchair nomad. And before I know it, I just jokingly said it in a comment. And before I know it, someone was like, y'all check out the wheelchair nomad. Check out the wheelchair nomad. I was like, all right, I guess it's sticking now.
And I mean, you have it's so amazing because you've done so many things. I mean, you talk about Dubai and Italy, but did I hear that you did skydiving?
Correct. Yes, ma'am. I went skydiving also.
Oh
And
my
that's one of
God.
those things. It's like, what else do I want to do? I want to go skydiving. So I made some phone calls and some companies were like, yeah, if you can't walk, we can't. Yeah, we're not doing that. But then I reached out to my Atlanta, Georgia, to the Shepherd Center, which is the spinal cord rehabilitation center I went to. And I was like, hey, do y'all know anyone that helps paralyzed people skydive? And I was like, absolutely. And I reached out and we got busy. It
Wow, that's
was
awesome.
fantastic.
That is
It
fantastic.
was, it was. It was like I think Will Smith said it's crazy to think like when you're skydiving and they open the door and you realize like I've never been on an airplane with the door open before. You're like, this is real life.
Look, and I do not want to experience that, so I'm glad you all do it, but I will
Why
vicariously
not? You
live
got
through
come on,
you.
you can do it.
Oh
You
no.
can do it.
Oh no. I used to think I was afraid of heights, but I think just afraid of falling. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, I understand. I understand. It was one of the most memorable parts of the experience where we were ascending in the air and going up, and it was summertime, so it's basically an empty, a shell of a plane. There are no seats or nothing. You sit on the ground, right? And so the guy opens the door, and I'm first. So
of
he
course.
opens the door. Yeah, no, right? And it's like 12 people behind me, and I'm the first one. So I'm like, all right, yeah. And he opens the door, and I'm like, I look out. I'm like, okay, is it time to go? Like, is it we getting ready? He was like, oh no, it's just hot on this plane. I opened the door to cool off. We have about 9,000 more feet to go up. Oh no, this is good right here. Y'all can just drop me out. Yeah, this is plenty high for me.
Oh my goodness.
He's like, oh yeah, we're only in like 6,000 feet. I just opened the door to cool the plane off. We have about 9,000.
Wow.
I said,
Okay. Well,
I know, whatever you say, boss.
what pushes you to keep trying new things? And I mean, I'm assuming there's some level of fear that shows up at some point.
Absolutely. Fear, I use it as a tool rather than a crutch. Everything you've ever wanted in life is on the other side of fear. So like everything that you think you can accomplish, like think about it. Even with my entrepreneurship that I'm doing now, I worked in IT for 9 years, and every year I would say, "This is my last. It's my last year, and I'm gonna be an entrepreneur next year." And then I got a promotion. Then I went, okay, I'm gonna just wait one more year. And before I know it, I've been in this company 9 years. Like 9 years has passed. So I was afraid to let go of that steady income and the ditto and good benefits of that. But unforeseen circumstances came about, and God basically pushed me into entrepreneurship. So I was like, I was afraid, but it's been working out for me, and I've been blessed. So it keeps me pushing to understand that life is meant for the living. Like a lot of people are alive, but they're not living.
Mm,
And we only get one opportunity at this thing called life. So I want to make sure that I get the most that I can out of it.
wow. People needed to hear that. That's awesome. So then I want to go back though because I want you to talk to me about I know I'm a Delta. Some people know and listen,
Absolutely.
I'm a Delta. So
Yeah,
and I know you're an Omega man. So
absolutely.
I want to hear from you like what was that thought process like for you to decide you wanted I mean was that during college or at what point did you decide you wanted to be an Omega man?
Yeah, so even before I got injured when I was playing ball in college, I wanted to cross Omega. I had a family member that was Omega, and it was pretty cool that the things I saw him doing in the community. And then also when I got hurt, in the local area, some Omegas came and visited me and was like, "We just heard about your story. We don't even go to your school. We go to a neighboring school, and we want to just." And it was something that I was like, "See, this is what I'm talking. Like this is." The organization I want to be a part of this outreaches in the community and helping people that don't even know that they don't even know. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And so and then when I transferred back home and came to University of Memphis, when I was able to get my grades and everything in order and get back because I'm newly injured, so I didn't want to immediately. Well, freshmen can't pledge anyway. So I wanted to meet, I wanted to get acclimated to the campus and understand my disability, things I could and couldn't do. And then once I got that down pat, I was like, you know what? I would like to go to an interest meeting. And it was history from there.
I love it. That's awesome. Some of my favorite people are in the Divine Nine. I will. We have a preference
Yeah.
for the Omegas, but I will say it's
Yeah,
all
I
about you.
understand.
I got lots of love for the Divine Nine. So
I understand.
that's awesome.
We know who your favorite is, though.
And I will tell you, I'm excited because I know you're going to be coming to my city next year.
Yep,
Um,
Tracy CA, right?
yes, Tracy, California. So we are excited. I know the Tracy area alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is hosting an empowerment day, and I think it's going to be just phenomenal to have you speaking to these kids and helping them understand, like, maybe they might feel stuck in a situation, maybe they
Hmm.
experience bullying or anxiety or
Hmm.
whatever other kind of struggles. What advice, I mean, do you have any advice you would give to help them kind of move forward and without giving away all your secrets?
I was just about to say that I can't give away the speech now. I'll give that to them
No.
advice in February. But let's know that I think from the feedback I've gotten from kids and even parents, I think that's one of the most fulfilling things, that when parents reach out was like, I wasn't even there, but my child has been talking about you for the past 4 days. And so something stuff like that that kind of uplifts me and gives me fulfillment. So I think it'll be a great time and a great presentation.
Yes, we are excited. And especially knowing that it's going to be Black History Month. And
Mhm.
we're planning for some a lot of excellence toward the evening. So I think it's just going to be a full day of just empowerment and joy. Um,
Absolutely.
and so now I know you've also become a symbol of what it means to persevere. And I know you talk a lot about the sky is not the limit. And we
Hmm.
talked about skydiving. What do you think are maybe a few things adults can do to help kids that are struggling with limitations in their own life?
Yeah, so I would definitely say a positive reinforcement, positive affirmation is definitely a positive, but also not in the sense of where it becomes hindering. Like understand and let them know like it's okay to fail. Like it's okay to not be successful. And just because you continuously try doesn't mean you will still be successful. Like you can continuously try and still fail on the outcome, and that's cool. But the worst thing is to never try at all. Like to never try at all, then you never know you're going through life thinking about the what ifs. I tell kids all the time, 20 years from now, you're going to regret the things you didn't do versus the things you did. Like
Yeah.
even back, I was like, man, like even thinking back, some things I did regret I did do, like I never should have. I'm just say play soccer, but I've had more regretfulness of like the fact that I didn't even try out for the baseball team. Like I should at least try it out, like things of
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
Um, so you're gonna regret the things you didn't do versus things you did, and I tell kids all the time, it's like you are a young adult, and nobody's gonna baby you anymore, especially when you get to college. I remember it's an instance when I was in college, and as soon as I got to class, said, "All right, everybody, turn in your papers." What paper? It was like, "Oh, you didn't read you didn't read the syllabus, Mr. Cleaves." I mean, yeah, the syllabus you gave us 2 months ago. Yeah, yeah, I'm not your mother. It's not my, I told you what day it was due. I told you it's not my job to be your mother, Mr. Cleaves. But now she said, is my last name Cleaves? And I said, no, ma'am. She said, that means I'm neither your mother nor your wife. So it's not my job to tell. I was like, good God, you could at least reminded me. But no.
No
So
reminders. No reminders.
exactly. So it's
Yes.
things like that. It was okay. Let me get myself together and understand, like, oh yeah, these people not gonna baby you, and just be positive and stay positive, and always have that positive mindset. Having a positive mindset has got me through so much things in life. Just the glass is always half full. I'm trying not to think about the negative, what I can do versus what I can't do.
Yeah, I love it. So what's something maybe most people don't know about you that might surprise somebody?
Is this podcast video or audio only?
Well, it can be either.
Okay. I was wondering because most people won't realize how handsome I am if it's audio only.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
for sure,
Uh,
we're gonna put that on video.
Yeah, for sure. But most people, I would definitely say I'm just a regular guy. Like the people that genuinely know me, they honestly say we forget Fletcher's even in a wheelchair. Like we'll just be talking and they'll be like, "Hey, Fletch, hand me that or do that." I'll be like, "You want me to get Reese on top of?" Oh, I forgot. My bad. but that's a good thing that like I live my life in such a manner that it makes people forget that I even have a disability.
Yeah.
Especially my family, my cousins. There ain't nothing wrong with Fletcher. He tricking all y'all. You know,
Tricking us all.
no, exactly. But yeah, I just try to be a regular dude and just live my life and try to stay positive and control the things I can't control and the things I can't control. I give it to the Most High.
There you go. Let's pause for a moment. We'll be right back. Well, in this podcast, I tend to talk to a lot of people about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Mhm.
And there's a lot going on these days with respect to diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging,
For sure.
whatever you want to talk about. Um, what do you think about the conversation?
I definitely think it's needed. A lot of companies are getting rid of the DEI programs, and I definitely think it's needed to understand that just the conversation is that some people in life have been given a head start. We all didn't start at the same place, right?
Yes.
So it's like you telling me we got to run 4 laps, and you start on lap 3. You're like, like that ain't fair. So things of that nature, and to kind of even the playing field. Now, I'm not saying that lesser qualified individuals should get opportunities, but just understand that hey, equally qualified or understanding that a person might be more qualified and to understand hey, they deserve opportunity in some of these rooms as well.
Yes, absolutely. So, and tell us a little bit about, because I know you're doing a lot of work these days speaking,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
now as your own CEO entrepreneur. Like, how do people stay connected with you, support your work, and maybe bring you to their community?
Yes, social media is a great way to get in contact with me. Instagram, Rolling on Faith. That's ROLLINONFAITA. So rolling without a G
Okay.
on Faith. My website is FletcherCleaves.com. You can read more about my story, the things I got going recently, and read information about the Wheelchair Nomad and fill out a contact form if you would like for me to speak at any upcoming event you have coming, or if you would like to inquire about speeches, or that if you just would like to donate for our cause. We are a community organization where we empower the community. So, like for instance, I'm putting together a field day on August 9th. And basically, I don't know if y'all have these in California, but down south we had field days where in elementary, middle school, where there was no school on like a Friday, and it was basically a carnival for kids. They would have like a dunk tank where you had the principal in the dunk tank, and they would have nachos and pizza, and the whole school was a carnival. Like this floor is for food, this floor is for games, the outside is the dunk tank and the water activities. So basically, they let us just I don't say run wild, but because there was chaperones and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm doing something similar for the community, just to bring that inner child out of us in the park here in Memphis. Food trucks, water slide, dominoes, stage, horseshoes, a big family and kind of ideal just for the community.
Nice.
And of course, it's not free, but I'm funding all of it out of my pocket. So if people would like to donate to that cause and just help, you can also go on my website for that.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. All about the community. So that's pretty cool.
I am telling you, the community is a lot of it takes a village. I really believe it takes a village.
Absolutely. So then what's next for you? Like, what kind of where are you going to visit next? What's next on your list of things to
Mhm.
do?
Yes, I haven't. I've been to the Caribbeans a lot lately, but I haven't taken any big, I call them big trips, like to Europe or Asia or so I want to get back to doing those type of trips and not, I'm tired of to Mexico and Jamaica and all that, Barbados. And I'm thankful for those, but to me, I tell people all the time, After your fifth island, they all start to look the same. It's water and a beach and a resort. It's like okay, we gonna jet ski, parasail. Like, what do we do? We did the same thing in Jamaica.
I love
So anyway, I just like to expand different cultures and different foods and activities and like a city like Tokyo or Hong Kong or Dubai and things of that nature. So I want to get back to doing that, but on the closer side, on the short term, just presentations. I'm trying to get finances in order and figure out more ways I can give back to the community.
that's fantastic. You mentioned earlier, I have a mother that has mobility issues, and
Hmm.
I've always been trying to plan this vacation to take her back. She's from Panama, and so I've never been,
Hmm.
and I've always wanted to go, but I do struggle with like how do you plan a trip that
Hmm.
where you have to think about
Yeah.
like just being able to go upstairs or all of that,
Yeah. Panama, Florida, or the country Panama?
the country.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, international, the United States is kind of they spoiled us because for the most part, all the cities are somewhat accessible, right?
Yeah.
But then when you go to different countries, it kind of gets a little more tricky. But you just have to. I try to stick to your mainstream hotels. Like I look for Marriott properties in different countries, Hilton properties in different countries. But then when you get into the actual country and living, like you said, she's from there, so I'm pretty sure you're going to see family and going through neighborhoods, and that becomes a little more tricky. And you just have to be prepared. Be prepared to experience uncomfortability.
Yeah.
So I mean, it sucks to say, but I travel with when I go to countries that I might not be the most accessible or might not be first world countries or cities like Tokyo and Hong Kong. It might be something lesser. um, I try to take people with me so I'm prepared. Like my boys go with me, my frat brothers or my brothers or whomever might travel with me. So when I do encounter those inconveniences, they're like, okay, yeah, we got Fletch. We're gonna help them through this or navigate through this and do that. So that's why I definitely say it takes a village. But I would say for the first time, I definitely try to stick um, with your mainstream. What is it called? I'm not a debt planner. What are the people
Travel,
you call? A
a
travel agent. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, a travel. I was not a bid planner. What was it? A travel agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to stick to mainstream travel agents that have experience with um, transportation. Like, okay, I know a transportation, accessible transportation van that can take y'all around these different areas. But just planning, if you can plan, then I think it's definitely doable.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, and then in terms of your entire, because you have such a brand now, whether it be, I mean,
Um,
you've done TEDx, you've done like, I mean, I don't even know how some of these things come to be, because there's so much that you have to offer and are giving. I mean, you are giving yourself.
mhm,
You can you can people can look you up online and they get a lot of information about you,
absolutely.
but then you
That's a
come and bring even more. So it's amazing.
People ask like, so what do you do? Are you a speaker? Are you a traveler? What is your main audience? Is it sports? Is it students? Is it businesses? I'm like, my story is so diverse that I'm an athlete, so I know how to give a sports presentation to collegiate athletes. I've done Old Miss University Memphis sports teams. I do the students with the understanding making smart decisions as you get older. I've done the corporate events where leadership and development presentations. So I just try to be well diverse in my craft.
That's awesome. And I know if I remember correctly, you were working in technology at a company.
Absolutely.
And then
Yes, ma'am.
and I think because I think people are struggling with this whole work at home versus go back to the office and all of that kind of stuff. So what has that been like for you working in tech?
Yeah, so well, when I was working in tech, I loved it. I mean, it's a lucrative field, but say just pre-COVID, just sitting behind that desk every day in a cubicle, it just wasn't for me. So I mean, I did it for 8 years, but like I was like, like this is you telling me I got hour for lunch, and it was cool there because that's what we were conditioned. Especially growing up, you're in school 8 hours a day,
Right.
so you're conditioned to be prepared to be in a cubicle for 8 hours a day, right? But then once COVID happened, and then I was at home and I got a little free time to work on the balcony, work in Starbucks or whatever. I'm like, okay, this is a little different. I like this. And then I became an entrepreneur, and I'm like, oh, I could do whatever, So it's like I like this way better.
Yeah.
Hey, Fletch, we're about to go to lunch. You wanna? Yep, sure do. I have nothing. It's that type of freedom and that type of, but it's a feast or a famine type of deal,
Yeah.
because you got to know how to budget your finances. It's not just always glory. You got to budget your finances. You might say, "Oh, January was a very lucrative month. Like it's good," but then you realize that you have no income for May, June, and July. So it's like, okay, let me focus back. Like you got to enjoy January, but you got to prepare for the future months.
Yes, that is the life of an entrepreneur sometimes,
Mhm.
there are definitely the peaks and valleys, but
Absolutely.
that's awesome. Well, and how are you enjoying being a small business owner? I mean, that's got to
Mhm.
be an experience, but I love the fact that you're kind of bringing out like you get to write the rules. And I think a lot
Mhm.
of times when people go into small business, I mean, I actually, my dad worked for Xerox for many, many years and then
Mhm.
retired and went into his own business. And I watched him and I was like, "Ooh, I do not want to do that." He used to tell me it's like everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. You and the president, what are you doing today? You know,
Absolutely.
and I was like,
Same 24
but
hours.
I was like 9 years old, I'm like,
Playing hopscotch. That's what I want to do. Like I
oh,
want to go jump roping.
right.
I want to play
So
basketball.
my mind was not where his mind was, but now looking at it, I love the fact that we get to do what we want to do. Um,
Absolutely, yes, yes. But like I said, so I always glory. I tell people all the time, there's a difference between making money and running a business.
yeah,
See, a lot of people know how to make money, but they don't know how to run a business. It's like, okay, I tell people all the time, like I'll say January was a lucrative month, right? I'm gonna just throw out a number, right? I'm gonna just say January $10,000, right?
yeah,
And they're like, "Oh, great job." I'm like, "Yeah, but you understand, the business made $10,000.
right.
I have to buy plane tickets. I have to get to these speeches. I have to buy food. I have to pay somebody to travel with me. And after all that, I then have to pay taxes on that money.
Yes.
So it's like I didn't make $10,000. The business made 10,000,
Yes, yes.
and I walked away with 2,000.
Preach, preach, Fletcher. It's
Mhm.
it's amazing. So what else can we would you say to folks that are out there and getting ready to see you over the next few months? Is there some things we can do to prepare ourselves? Because I mean,
Mhm.
I keep hearing you got this personality that's kind of like culture shifting.
Oh yeah, I definitely. From what people tell me, I don't want to brag, but I'm a non-traditional speaker, so to speak. I love to have a good time. You definitely want to bring a notepad, and you definitely want to get ready to laugh and have a good time.
I love
So
it.
people, my friends and family, they always say it's so amazing to watch Fletcher speak, because we've always known this person, but to see people experience it for the first time, you look in the crowd and you see people laughing, then they crying, then they laughing again, and then they crying, and then they like, what is going on? So it's just a fun time.
I love it. And I mean, I think what's nice is that you allow yourself to be visible and share your story like out loud. And there are a lot of people in society that kind of encourage people with disabilities to kind of fade into the background. And you're
Mhm.
like, "Oh no, I'm here. I'm doing
Yeah.
whatever."
Excuse me, down here. Yeah. I love being the non-traditional disabled person when I go into an establishment, and especially if I'm with somebody. I this used to happen all the time. And like we would go somewhere and they would be like talking to the person I'm with. Does he want a water or Coke? I don't know, ask him. Yeah, it's like, oh,
Right?
or it happened the other day. I rented a car for, I had to drive to a speech, or the person I was going with was driving. So I took them with me, to pick up the rental car. And they were like, will you be needing insurance? And I'm like, ma'am, look, I'm just a driver. Ask him every question that you need to know. Yeah, it does. You are. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't realize that you. Yeah, I'm Fletcher.
Yeah,
I'm the guy who names on
exactly.
the reservation.
Well, and it's interesting because what stories do you think are missing when we think about our media and culture, when, especially when it comes to Black men, disabilities that they may be struggling with, and the impact of those gaps? Like, how do we start filling the gap in terms of just getting stories out there to help people?
Mhm.
Uh,
Exposure for
yeah.
sure.
So,
Yeah, just exposure, whether it's social media or news or podcast, showing, especially our young Black people, showing more successful people that aren't athletes, entertainers, or musicians, showing more successful business owners that's like, hey, I make 7 figures a month or whatever, showing is like, okay, I didn't know this was an option. I thought it was acting in basketball, right? Um,
yeah.
so showing that, and whether it's showing more disabled people that are in the community,
Okay.
where people, I get so many messages was like, I didn't even know, excuse me, I didn't even know I could skydive. Like, yeah, well, did you ask? Number one was like, I've never seen anybody do it. And so I want to be that focal point was like, okay, I've seen somebody do this before. So I want to do it too.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's how it was back in the Jim Crow era, like showing successful Black people or showing smart Black people or showing, letting people know that you don't have to have, which is nothing wrong, but you don't have to have these blue collar jobs or these factory jobs, so to speak, all the day. Like you can go to college, like you can be a doctor.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and clearly you're showing people we can do whatever we want, no matter who we are and what capabilities we have. So
Mhm,
I think it's awesome what you are doing in the world.
mhm,
I just love just the zeal. I mean, I think the you got that $1 million smile that kind of make people just fills up the room, you know. And
mhm. And my like, and my parents being my parents, like people ask where I get my humor from. It's definitely from my parents, my dad and my mom. They are silly, just as silly as I am. And once my dad, when my incident, my car crash happened, and that was like, is he did he have any brain damage? No. Okay. Is he okay? He's gonna be okay. He's just paralyzed. All right. And my dad, this is my mom asked a question, and I just got my braces off probably like a year prior to my car crash.
okay.
And my dad was like, which I'm pretty jokingly, did he mess his teeth up? Because I paid $6,000 for the braces. That's what I want, bro.
Oh
Yeah.
my
It was
god.
like, okay, he fine. They thought, what about his teeth? Because he owed me $6,000 if he knocked his teeth out.
That sounds like some people I know. I love it.
Yeah,
Well,
but it's just joking, being silly.
but that it's like that's what we need in life, you know?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Any other closing thoughts? Things you want people to know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to end with this quote, or a couple quotes. I won't say them all because I'm gonna say some of them in my presentation.
Okay.
But number one, where the sky's not the limit comes from was like, don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. There are no limitations to what you can achieve. There are no limitations to what you can accomplish. The only limitations are the ones you impose on yourself. And then secondly, understand that adversity happens to everybody. But it's not what happens to you that defines you, it's how you respond to it.
That's awesome. Oh, we did not give a proper shout out to your chapter.
Shout out to the man.
The Omegas have spoken.
Absolutely.
And I love, I think there's not enough discussion about, what the Divine Nine does. I know, there's been more talk about some of that lately, but it's so wonderful to hear about the positive impact that you are making in your community and the
Mhm.
Omegas are making. And we just want to make sure we continue to broaden our focus and impact on the community. So, a big shout out and thank you to you and all you're doing in the world because you are leaving a legacy, my man. You are living a legacy, shall I say. Um,
I appreciate it.
and we are so excited to have you, and I look forward to seeing you. We're gonna rock the house. So if
Absolutely. I'm excited as well.
If you want to see Fletcher Cleaves, come on out and join us. It's going to be an exciting and just an overall wonderful time. So we're excited to have you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you all too.
All right, sir. Well, let's see. I was trying to think if I had anything I wanted to ask you, but I think that was. I do want to just let people know that Empowerment Day will be held with Fletcher Cleaves, the Wheelchair Nomad, on February 6th, 2026, in Tracy,
Mhm.
California. He is an amazing, amazing guy. You do not want to miss this. He has created and shared his story on stages across the country, including ESPN, College Game Day, countless schools and communities. And he is such a man of focus on intersectional representation. We are not a monolith. He
Mhm.
is an advocate for accessibility, and clearly he speaks candidly about so many things with respect to systemic barriers, diversity, leadership. It is a session, an event that you do not want to miss. So come on out and join us. And we look forward to seeing everybody. So stay tuned for all the details. Thanks for joining me on the Jali podcast. Please subscribe so you won't miss an episode. See you next week.